You ever hear about places that feel wrong the moment you step inside? There is a railway station out in rural America that most people drive past without a second thought. But the locals, they never go near it. Not after dark. They call it Hollow Creek Station, though the sign is barely legible now, peeling paint flapping like tattered skin in the wind. It's the kind of place that, even on a bright summer day, seems to draw the shadows closer, as if the air itself is heavier there, thicker. The story goes back decades, to a train derailment that killed dozens in one of the worst accidents in state history. Since then, people passing through have reported seeing figures on the platform when no one should be there, hearing a whistle cut through the night fog, feeling sudden cold where there should be warmth. I first heard about it from an old man at a gas station in the nearest town. His hands shook as he poured coffee, and he leaned in close when I asked him about the station. "Don't go there at night," he said, voice low and urgent. "You'll see things, hear things, things you won't want to see." I laughed nervously at first. Local legends, right? But the intensity in his eyes made me pause, and curiosity, that dangerous little itch, got the better of me. I drove out there late one evening, headlights cutting through a fog so thick it swallowed everything except the faint glow of the cracked station sign. As I parked near the edge of the overgrown lot, the wind whispered through the skeletal remains of trees, carrying the faint smell of rust and wet earth. The platform stretched before me, wooden planks warped and broken, the nails sticking up like tiny, rusted teeth. Each step I took seemed louder than it should have been, echoing across the empty fields, as if the world was amplifying my presence. The station building itself loomed ahead, a black silhouette against the fog, windows shattered or caked with grime. The entrance, yawning open, like a dark mouth. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back, but I took another step, and then another. The air grew colder with each step toward the building, a chill that wasn't entirely from the night. It felt unnatural, like the warmth of the world was being sucked out and replaced by something waiting. I shone my flashlight inside, the beam cutting through decades of dust and debris. Old benches lay overturned, forgotten luggage rotted into the floorboards, and the walls were covered in graffiti, some messages playful, some urgent, desperate. One scratched into the wood caught my eye. "Leave now?" Another, half-faded red. "They watch." I shivered, laughing nervously at my own foolishness. It was an old building, abandoned for years. Nothing more. That's what I told myself. Then I heard it. At first, a faint metallic creak, like the slow grind of a train wheel against rail. But the tracks ended nowhere, broken long ago, swallowed by weeds and mud. My pulse jumped. "Primera," called out, expecting the echo of my own voice, but nothing answered. Only that soft, deliberate scraping sound, growing closer, though no one could be there. My feet felt heavier, like the wooden planks were holding me in place. A cold sweat ran down my spine as I glanced over my shoulder, and that's when I noticed the bench near the platform's edge, moving slightly, rocking as if something had just stood on it and left. Heart hammering, I turned back toward the station, scanning the shadows with my flashlight, and then I saw a figure, or maybe just a shadow, stretched impossibly long across the platform. It looked like a man, tall, thin, limbs bending wrong, moving without sound, as if sliding rather than walking. I froze, every instinct screaming at me to run, but my legs wouldn't obey. It turned toward me, or maybe it had been facing me all along. Impossible to tell, and I realized it had no face, nothing to meet my eyes, just darkness where features should be. I couldn't breathe. My mind raced, trying to rationalize it. Fog. Trick of the light. Exhaustion. But nothing explained the weight in the air, the smell of iron and decay, or the way the shadows seemed to lean closer. Hungry, I stumbled backward, finally breaking free from the platform's pull, tripping over a broken plank and landing hard on the cracked asphalt beyond the station. Pain shot through my leg, but I didn't care. I scrambled to my feet and ran, not looking back, though I could still hear it. The soft scrape of wheels on invisible tracks, the faint, high-pitched whistle of a train that wasn't coming. By the time I reached my car, the fog had thinned slightly, but the station loomed behind me, silent and patient. I drove without headlights for a stretch, only the dim glow of my dashboard guiding me, and yet the sound lingered, faint but unmistakable, inside my skull. At home, I tried to convince myself it was my imagination. I'd been tired, maybe spooked by too many ghost stories, maybe hallucinating from stress or isolation. But every night since, it'd come as bike. In dreams first, then in waking moments, the faint whistle. The dark figure at the edge of my vision, sometimes in mirrors or windows. I think I see that stretch of platform, waiting for me. The shadows lean just so, beckoning, patient. And I know, somewhere in the back of my mind, that the station isn't gone. It remembers. It waits for curiosity to draw people in, for the small human need to peek behind the veil of fear. And when it finds someone brave or foolish enough, it doesn't just scare them, it collects them. I went back once, a few weeks later, thinking maybe I could get proof, record something for video or photos. I parked at a distance, binoculars trained on the platform. But as I watched, I realized there was movement. Not just a shadow, but subtle, deliberate gestures, like hands brushing over benches, the faint sway of the station sign in windless air. And then I saw footprints, fresh in the mud along the broken track, leading nowhere, stopping abruptly at the end of the line that had been abandoned for decades. My stomach churned. I'd never seen them before, yet I knew they weren't human, not entirely, or at least not alive in the way we are. The shapes and movements suggested intelligence, awareness, intent, and in that moment, I understood what the old man had meant. The station doesn't just exist. It watches. It remembers. It wants. It wants. The townspeople never speak of Hollow Creek Station except in hushed tones, shaking heads, warning children to stay away. Those who do venture out rarely return the same. Some report hearing whispers calling their names, faint and sorrowful. Others speak of glimpses of friends or family in the fog, beckoning them forward, only to vanish when approached. One story tells of a man who disappeared completely, leaving only a shoe on the platform, soaked in a dark, sticky substance no one could identify. Authorities investigate, dismiss it as pranks or accidents, but they never find anyone missing, and those who try to leave the station for good. Sometimes the train finds them anyway. A door left. Ooh, a window slightly open, and the faint, almost imperceptible scraping of wheels on tracks that don't exist. Calling, inviting. I've gone back to that station in daylight, fooling myself into thinking the sun would chase away the shadows, and yet it feels the same. Hollow, wrong. The air tastes metallic, carries a low hum like a heartbeat beneath your feet, a vibration that gets under your skin, inside your bones. Even on bright mornings, I feel the pull, the subtle tug at the edge of perception. Sometimes I hear footsteps following me home. Soft, deliberate, never matching the rhythm of my own. I never turn. I don't want to see it, but the knowledge is there, gnawing at the edges of my mind. The station waits, and it always finds someone new. There's a story I didn't hear until years later, from a woman whose brother vanished at Hollow Creek Station. She said he'd gone looking for proof, for evidence he could laugh about later, like I had. And one night, weeks after he disappeared, she saw him in a dream, or maybe it was reality, standing on the platform, frozen, looking at the tracks. But there was something wrong. His eyes were dark, empty, his movements stilted, unnatural, and he whispered her name, Ober and Ober, urging her to come. She never went back, but she said she can still feel the pull, in quiet moments, when the wind shifts just right. And that S, the thing about Hollow Creek Station, it doesn't just exist in space. It exists in memory, in awareness, in longing. It reaches out to those who remember it, to those who hear the stories, to those foolish enough to wonder if it's real. I know it's real. I've felt Italiano. I've seen the shadows, heard the whistle, smelled the iron in the air, and some nights, when the fog is thick and the world is quiet, I swear I can hear the scrape of wheels on broken rails, the station breathing, patient, waiting for the next curious soul, because it doesn't just want to scare you. Hollow Creek Station wants something more, and if it ever chooses you, there's no whistle that will warn you, no sign that will stop you, no platform edge you can cross to escape. The train doesn't stop, and once it takes you, you're gone, folded into the shadows, remembered only by the faint echo of your name on the wind, waiting for someone else to stumble across the tracks, just curious enough to answer the call.